A very good evening to you. It is the 23rd of April 2024. You're just in time for the bottom line here on Lookuptv on a day that Public Service Performance and Delivery Management CS Moses Kuria now says he will present a proposal that will convert all public servants from permanent to, of course, contractual terms. He says that the wage bill of, the government rather uses a lot of money to sustain the wage bill, and of course in paying the public servants who are on permanent and pensionable basis. That was a revelation made by the CS during a press conference held by, of course, himself alongside the Health CS Susan Nakomesha and, of course, the chairperson of the All of Nation Committee, that is Felix Koski, the Chief of Staff, in regards to the doctors' strike, with the CS now noting that they will head to court in regards to that particular, of course, case. That is, if at all, the doctors will not call off their strike. Now that, among many other stories we've prepared for you this particular night. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines.
Tonight on the bottom line, the state set to initiate court proceedings and file a status report regarding the agreement they had with the medics if they fail to call off their strike, says Health CS Susan Nakomesha.
We need bold action to make corruption an expensive affair for businesses and public officers.
Azimio Coalition Party urges President William RUTO to tackle the rising corruption impacting service delivery.
The county governments agreed to engage the National Treasury in the next 6 months for seed funding.
And the Council of Governors insist that the equitable shareable revenue should be increased to 450 billion shillings.
Now, welcome to the program. I am Ian Keitani, and our sign language interpreter is Angel Lois. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live on our Facebook and YouTube pages at Lookuptv. Now, Health CS Susan Nakomesha says the ministry will move to court if the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union does not call off their doctors' strike, which entered its 41st day on Tuesday. Now, since March 14th, the doctors have abandoned their duty stations and have been protesting the government's failure to post medical interns and obey a 2017 collective bargaining agreement on doctors' labor terms.
With the doctors' strike clocking day 41 today, the hope of millions of Kenyans being that a consensus will be reached, Health CS Susan Nakomesha has said the government will initiate court proceedings and file a status report regarding the agreement they had if the medics fail to call off their strike.
Follow up to the doctors' refusal to call off the strike, we have instructed our council to immediately move to court and file the status report as to what we had agreed to and initialed on as a return to work formula. Equally, we will be asking our council to appeal to the court to review the orders that had been issued initially so that we are allowed to take the necessary action to ensure that Kenyans continue to enjoy healthcare services.
Addressing the press alongside the All of Nation approach team and a section of governors, the CS noted that the government had no intention of allocating more funds for intern doctors other than the 2.2 billion shillings.
The ministry has received 2.4 billion for payment of internship. And I want to clarify that this 2.4 billion is available to the ministry up to June 2024. So the offer of 70,000 for those interns who need to be posted is still available, and this offer shall have to be renegotiated after June 2024.
CAG Chair Anne Mombi Waiguru didn't spare the doctors, noting that they should resume their duties within 24 hours.
It is most unfortunate that the doctors have deliberately refused and ignored or disregarded the courtesies extended to them. The doctors are therefore insensitive to the suffering and plight of the vulnerable Kenyans in dire need of health services. It was further agreed that the union shall immediately call off the strike, and the union members participating in the strike arising from the strike notice dated 6 March 2024 shall immediately return to work, but not later than within 24 hours of executing this deed.
However, it is a win for mothers after funds for Linda Mama were released, alongside funds to facilitate the running of faith-based facilities.
A total of 2 billion has been paid for Linda Mama arrears to all health facilities. Equally, 1 billion has been paid to all faith-based facilities that had claims. 1.5 billion has been paid to all government facilities that were owed.
Ian Keitane, Lookuptv.
Now, still on matters health, the Anglican Church, under the leadership of retired Archbishop Eliedo Abukala, has urged both the government and the Doctors' Union KMPDU to abandon their rigid positions and participate in a constructive dialogue aimed at resolving the ongoing doctors' strike. According to the ACK clergy, the current strike has severely disrupted essential services in public healthcare, and they caution that the situation will deteriorate further if a resolution to the current deadlock is not reached.
Wito wangu kwao ni kwamba wawache kuwa na misimamo migumu, wakubali kuzungumza na serikali na wale wahusika katika county government ili waweze kurudi kazi, maisha yapate kuepuka, yapate kupona na mauti ambazo zingeepukwa ziweze kuepukwa. Kwa hivyo mwito wangu ni kwamba rudini kazini huku mkianza mazungumzo na kulegeza misimamo.
Wakipata watu ambao hawajaelewa wanaweza kupotoka. Kwa hivyo njia moja ni kufanya study kama hii na kuwa documented, ambayo inalingana na mafunzo ya kibibilia sawa sawa. Kwa sababu bila mafunzo yaliyo mazuri, watu wengi wanaweza kuchukua neno la dini na kulitumia kibinafsi.
The drugs are a big challenge. The hydroxyurea are available, but not at the hospital. We get them at the outside pharmacies, and we find that they are very expensive to purchase them in those private pharmacies, because you'll have to use cash. You can't use insurance for people who can afford insurance, because there are people who still can't afford insurance. The hydroxyurea is there, but it's not accessible because of the price that it's being sold at.
Now, the Council of Governors is advocating for a substantial increase in funding, proposing a minimum increment of 7 billion shillings annually. This move aims to address the rising expenditure stemming from the growing number of medical practitioners across the counties. However, with no corresponding increase in revenue allocation, concerns over sustainability looms large. Stanley Lugaria brings us the details.
Appearing before the Senate Finance and Budget Committee to deliberate on Division of Revenue Bill, the Council of Governors Chairperson Anne Waiguru has urged the Senate to push for every county to be allocated equitable share of revenue, amounting to a total 7 billion shilling for every fiscal year, so as to be able to address extra expenses including payment of doctors, which continues to hamper service delivery across counties.
It is that serious. It's actually not a favor we are asking for. We're asking just to even break even, to get resources enough to break even for counties to continue staying afloat.
The COG Vice Chairperson serving as Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi has slammed the Budget and Appropriations Committee for what he termed as a peanut increment in the new proposed budget of only 6 billion shillings, amounting to 1% of the budget increment of over 391 billion shillings, meant for the devolved government in the next financial year.
The division of revenue is based on shareable revenue and not on the current budget that is. flow for the amounts that's to go to the counties is 15% of the last audited and approved accounts.
Sentiments echoed by Nyeri counterpart Mutahi Kahiga, who said there is no allocation for ECDE, with the libraries and learning centers funding bill life hanging in between, an issue that has forced the county to stretch beyond their means.
Where we have now hired about 42,600 ECD teachers. From the onset, this function was never costed, it was never handed over to counties, and we have to look for extra funds from.
Led by Ali Roba, the senators have called on the governors to restrain from political statements with financial implications to the counties.
Making public pronouncements and political statements where you accept county aggregation industrial parks, you will do 50%, national government does 50%. You give the commitment. When you know the reality in your budget cannot support it.
With Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale pleading with the 47 leaders to refrain from dining with the MPs, with the mind that they will support them and instead work hand in hand with the Senate Finance Committee.
See what the Council of Governors can come with out of IDEC meetings. Those are the people you're competing with for the resource that we are dividing.
Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka has faulted the Exchequer for alleged misplaced priorities, terming them unconstitutional as they vow to support counties in actualizing devolution, as they sought to understand why the Treasury was delaying to release monies meant for the counties, as well as why there are 3 different bursaries at county level.
Why the county governments are not being given that money, I don't know. But at the same time, I'm confused because you as governors are giving bursaries, but MPs are also giving the same bursaries, and you have, in fact, even as in the Senate, if we had money, we would also be giving bursaries.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
Public Service Performance Delivery Management CS Moses Kuria now says he will present a proposal to convert all public servants from permanent to contractual terms. The CS spoke on Tuesday in Nairobi during a press conference on the ongoing nationwide doctors' strike, noting that a review of the wage bill found that sustaining employees permanently was unpalatable. According to the CS, half of the country's tax revenues are consumed by only 1 million public servants, and then the other half is left to be distributed among all remaining Kenyans.
We know, and last week we were in the wage bill conference, and I did state there, 1 million of us, 1 million people, public servants, consuming over 50% of our tax revenues, and we said that it's not me or you or the President of the Republic of Kenya, there's something wrong. There's something terribly wrong when 1 million people take half of our tax revenues, and then the 53 million people take another one. And we have committed as a government to nothing but honesty and to say the truth, no matter how unpalatable. That is why, if the doctors think that we are against them, this week, on Friday, I will be moving to Cabinet to present a proposal, a recommendation, which, if Cabinet approves, all government workers, at least on the national government, COG can speak for county government, all government workers from driver to cleaners to everybody will be converted to contract. There is not going to be anybody permanent anymore. If you want to be permanent, show me that even on earth, your tenure is permanent. We are all on contract, even on this earth. We are all on contract. As we do that, we are going to convert them from permanent and pensionable to contract, but still pensionable. So that now, our service, I am on contract, President of this country is on contract, Governor of Kirinyaga is on contract. We are all going to be on contract because we have to focus on matters productivity.
Well, that story, of course, takes us to first be the bat that the sentiments of CS Moses Kuria raises questions, and of course, we'll be waiting to see whether indeed he will do like he says and submit that particular proposal. Don't go away, we'll be coming back with more news items in this bulletin.
Come, let us show you place poor to build your dream home in Baraka Garden, situated just 5.4 kilometers from Blue Post Junction along the Thika Gatura Road. Place finest with secure gated community, maji na stima iko on site. Usitans na stories za title deeds ziko ready. Plus, flexible payment plans and financing options. Pay 30% and clear the rest in installments. Get in touch, twende site visit. For more information, contact 0794 333 222 or 0722 668 700 or visit our website www.mahasibuhousing.co.ke. Experience the beauty of Baraka Gardens today. University of Nairobi is a distinguished institution of higher learning dedicated to nurturing your intellectual curiosity and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. From state-of-the-art laboratories to modern libraries equipped with the latest resources, we provide you with the tools you need to succeed. Choose from a wide range of programs designed to prepare you for challenges of tomorrow's world. Whether in STEM, humanities, business, or the arts, our strong industry connections and career service support will help you translate your education into meaningful career opportunities upon graduation. Join a vibrant community of scholars from around the world, fostering cultural exchange, collaboration, and lifelong friendships. Book your space now for September intakes. Log in to https://www.uonbi.ac.ke for a wide range of courses to choose from. You can also contact +254 020 491 0000 or email us at pr@ounbi.ac.ke.
Now, thank you very much for staying with us. We continue with the bulletin now, and Azimio La Umoja Coalition Parliamentary Group has convened a meeting to assess the nation's current state and analyze the pivotal developments dominating public discourse. Within the meeting, Azimio raised allegations of government corruption, attributing it to a loss of business investment opportunities in Kenya. For more on this, Onesmus Musonye with more on this.
Azimio Coalition, through the leader of minority in the National Assembly, Opiyo Wandayi, has accused the government of corruption and misappropriation of public funds. Azimio says top government officials are involved in corruption, including bribery and kickbacks.
These are manifestations of state capture and corruption at their worst. They are part of the problem that is making foreign firms lose out on businesses and contracts in Kenya because the top government officials are involved in corruption, including bribery and open kickbacks.
The opposition says it's becoming very clear that only firms willing to pay bribes and those with political godfathers high up in government remain and thrive in Kenya, while others close shops or relocate to neighboring countries.
It is becoming very clear that only firms willing to pay bribes and those with political godfathers high up in government will remain and thrive in Kenya, while others close shop or relocate to neighboring countries.
Azimio continued to say that Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC) had listed ministries of Interior, Health and Transport as the most corrupt ministries in the country in a survey that showed that the average bribe doubled in 2023. Azimio called on EACC to go beyond releasing surveys and swing into action.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission listed the ministries of Interior, Health and Transport as the most corrupt. The survey showed that the size of the average bribe doubled in 2023. This meeting has called on EACC to go beyond releasing surveys and swing into action. We need bold action to make corruption an expensive affair for businesses and public officers.
Azimio termed the fake fertilizer scandal as economic sabotage and called on government to make sure those that are involved are apprehended.
The meeting concluded that the case of fake fertilizer being distributed to farmers by none other than the government of Kenya is an ideal place to begin showcasing our commitment to fighting runaway corruption and state capture as a country. The case of fake fertilizer is, in our view, a case of economic sabotage and must be treated as such. In other words, heads must roll.
Onesmus Msonya, Lookuptv.
Now, President William Ruto has today commissioned the next-gen export processing zone in Mavoko, Machakos County, set to create 1 million jobs in the next decade. Speaking during the launch, President Ruto outlined the measures that have been put in place to create a conducive investment environment in the country.
Today, President William Ruto presided over the official inauguration of Next Gen Packaging EPZ Kenya Limited at the Export Processing Zone in Athi River. This new venture is said to mark a significant milestone in Kenya's economic development. Exciting news await investors in the manufacturing industry as the president announces a 50% reduction in electricity tariffs for night production, effective May the 1st. This decision comes in response to persistent appeal from investors regarding the high electricity expenses, aiming to boost manufacturing operations and competitiveness.
We are working on how to make sure that the cost of power is investor-friendly, is manufacturing-friendly. And the first step we have agreed with industry is that those who will produce at night because we have excess power at night, we are going to reduce the tariff by 50%.
The head of state also encouraged more entrepreneurs to explore more investment opportunities in Kenya, emphasizing the nation's vibrant economic landscape in both public and private sector.
Owing to our advantageous geographical situation and extensive infrastructure, we are the gateway into the Eastern and Central Africa region, as well as the continent, making Nairobi the ideal headquarters of many dominant global public and private sector organizations intending to establish a broader continental footprint and presence.
He also emphasized to investors the importance of not importing labor, pointing out that Kenya's youthful population is educated, skilled, and renowned for the motivation, innovation, and entrepreneurial drive.
The young people that I saw in your workshop and in your enterprise are a cut above many. They are trained appropriately. Whatever skill that you will want, you will not need to import any skill. We have all the skills available here.
The commitment of Next Gen Packaging EPZ Limited to invest in this project, adding Kenya to their portfolio, speaks volumes about Kenya's status as preferred investment destination globally. George Kayesi, Lookuptv.
Now, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, while discussing the Senate's Public Accounts Committee report, has of course warned accountants that they will face consequences if found guilty of failing to generate expenditure reports in the departments. John Matava with more.
While addressing the press, ISPAC chairperson Philip Kaikai warned the party accountants that they will face consequences if found guilty of not preparing comprehensive expenditure reports for their departments.
Hii ni taasisi ya wasibu wa Kenya na tumewaita hapa ili tuwaongeleshe kuhusu ripoti za mkaguzi mkuu wa vitabu za serikali, na imetokana na mienendo ya wenzetu ambayo utapata kwamba katika ile bunge la Seneti kumekuwa na wasibu ambao kwa muda ambao tunasema muda wa wiki mbili hivi.
According to Kaikai, the institution should ensure the quality of these reports. If they cannot be compared due to financial discrepancies, then the respective counties have questions to answer regarding financial mismanagement.
Usawa wa zile financial statements, zile report, ikiwa haziwezi kulinganishwa kulingana na vile pesa zilipotumika, hilo ni jambo tunachukulia ukali sana. Lakini ndio hizo ripoti zitengeneze, tunasema matatizo yamo katika that particular county government.
Furthermore, Kaikai appealed to the Senate Finance Committee to send a qualified accountant to thoroughly audit the quality of the reports.
Tunaomba ya kwamba tuweze kutuma mhasibu ambaye aliyehitimu na ujuzi wa kutosha awe pale ili aweze kuwaeleza kweli kama huyu ni mwanachama wetu, kama hii ripoti kweli ni nzuri ama ni vipi.
He added that they had received financial reports for the year 2022-2023 from the national government but noted issues with the reports from the county governments.
Na ripoti za mwaka wa 2022-2023 zinaonyesha ya kwamba national government wamekuwa wakitoa ripoti, accountants wa public sector wa national government, serikali kuu, wamekuwa wakitoa ripoti ambazo zimekuwa zikionyesha kwamba wanajua mambo ambayo wanafanya.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
The Nakuru County Civil Society Organizations Forum is urging the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to expedite investigations into potential instances of abuse of office, negligence of duty, fraudulent activities and theft identified in Auditor General's report for the 2022-23 fiscal year concerning Nakuru County resources. Majid Hussain now reports.
The Auditor General's report for Nakuru County Executive Financial Year 2022-2023 reveals multiple violations of the public finance management principles and misappropriation of public resource by the county government of Nakuru. In the report, Kubudha said a total of cash 4.3 billion, which is 33% of the county expenditure, has been queried on the basis of lack of supporting documents, irregular expenditure, failure to reconcile book of accounts and violation of procurement laws.
We have done a basic analysis, not quite comprehensive, but just a basic analysis of the report. And we have realized that a total of 4.3 billion, which represents 33% of the county expenditure for the financial year 2022-2023, the total expenditure was actually 13.5 billion. So out of that, 4.3 billion has been queried by the Auditor General. And the reasons for these audit queries are: one, lack of supporting documents. It means that the county incurred expenditures, but there are no documents to support those expenditures. There is also irregular expenditure, which means that money may have been spent irregularly without following the due process of approval, or money that has not been allocated in the budget.
Paul Masese, Program Manager at the Center for Enhancing Democracy and Good Governance, urged the County Assembly of Nakuru and the Executive to provide a public justification for the expenditure and name the individuals, enumerate the actions taken to address the audit queries, as well as measures put in place to prevent the malpractice for recurring in the future. The Auditor General flagged failure to collect revenue from 1,087 approved liquor outlets, which is 42% of the 2,609 total number of the approved liquor outlets in Nakuru County.
And we know the County Assembly is obligated by law to act on the Auditor General's report for the county government. Unfortunately for us, you realize even in this report, they've been flagged out as having been bribed. And I'm using this word very intentionally. Why would the executive give the assembly money? Yet we know that by law, the assemblies run their own budgets. And you know what they call this? Facilitation. Yeah? What were they being facilitated for? So that's what I call bribery.
Majid Hussain, Lookuptv.
Let's get sporting now. Former African champions KCB women's volleyball team is set to participate in the 45th African Volleyball Championships in Cairo, Egypt from April 24th to May 5th. Now, Judith Odhiambo, KCB's head of corporate and regulatory affairs, expressed optimism during the flag-off ceremony, urging the team to compete fiercely and, of course, reclaim the title.
So it's going to be a tough competition, but we have what it takes to become #1 in this channel. Yeah, Sharon Chepchumba is a force to reckon with in Kenya. Marikia strikers and in our KCB team. So her coming back to KCB for this championship gives us strength and the spirit to fight more. And we are going to build a volleyball, KCB volleyball team, volleyball playing around her name. So we are hopeful that she's going to give us what it takes to win this championship.
The team is very much ready. The preparations have been so good. We had our ample time for training. Everything was in place, and I can say the team is very well prepared. The team is composed of experienced and upcoming players, which is a good thing for us. For the junior players who it's their first time to play in the African Club Championship, they are going to get experience. But it's a good thing because we had a tournament recently whereby they were given a chance to play, and from that they showed that they are equal to the task, and that's why the coaches believed in them and they have been put in the team to travel. So I'm very much sure they are going to do well. It's a bigger competition for them, but I know they are going to perform well as the junior players.
Now, Arsenal will go head-to-head against London rivals Chelsea at 10 p.m. at the Emirates Stadium. This match holds significant importance for Arsenal's title hopes. A loss or dropped points today could effectively end their aspirations for the title. However, a victory would provide them with a narrow lead at the top, keeping alive their dreams of clinching their first Premier League title in 2 decades. Well, on that note, we wrap up the bulletin at this particular moment in time. Thank you very much for being with us throughout the bulletin. See you again tomorrow. Have a blessed evening, and like always, God bless.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch